Well, I've been working a bit on the 86 250R and thought while I was at it I'd make a quick video showing what tools I use to work on old vehicles. Because when you're working on 25-year-old machines, you're going to be working with some rusty, sometimes bent, never removed parts, and you can get frustrated very quickly if you don't have the right tools for the job. So I thought I'd share my experience with pulling apart old vehicles, and you guys should chime in with your comments to make any recommendations you guys might have in terms of what to do in certain circumstances or situations. So it all started off well and good. I was home from work and I thought, okay, let me open up the front brake reservoir and see see what it looks like, because I got no front brakes. I have the clutch cable or lever around here somewhere, and I don't have the bolt that goes in here, but I just threw a big fat nail through there and pumped on it and just nothing. So she's dry as a bone. Why? Need to figure that out. I'm going to strip this thing down to the frame, but take my time, do things one at a time. So anyhow, I go to remove the screws that hold on the plate on this clutch, or on the brake reservoir, and just as I suspected, because the screws were already a bit rounded, I could not get them off. Screws just wouldn't come off. And I actually used, in order to try it first, I got out my impact wrench. Getting a little ahead of the game here, so take a step back. First of all, what you want is an impact wrench when working on old machines. The impact wrench is your friend because you're not applying tons of pressure and trying to turn off the screw or the bolt and okay, sorry folks, time out to take a call. Alright, sorry, where was I? Yeah, the impact wrench is your friend. Now, you want to be careful though and not use a super powerful, however many pound-feet per torque it is. I think that's like a 170 pound-per-foot torque impact wrench. And I don't know what this one's rated at, but I use a crappy air compressor with a crappy flow rate and a crappy connector, and I can pretty much guarantee that the pound-per-feet of torque that this impact wrench delivers is nowhere near that one. So I always start with this, least amount of force necessary. So anyhow, it was a screw, so I grabbed my good old Mastercraft tool kit. Which one did I use to start with? These, by the way, these things are a godsend as well. You can find them at Canadian Tire for $10 when they're on sale. It just gives you every possible size you might need. Anyhow, wherever that is, I started with that, and it still rounded the bolt, or still rounded the screw head, unfortunately. So I did what I thought I would have to do and break out the Dremel. But before I brought out the Dremel, never work angry. And I was already getting a little angry at that point. I was like, I just want to get this damn cap off so I can see if there's any brake fluid in there. And of course I ran into problems. So the first and one of the most important things to have handy when you're working on old machines is your vice of choice. Whether that's beer, smoke, whatever. Sit back, pop a cap off a brew, chug it back, have a smoke, chill out, formulate your thoughts, think about what you're going to do next, and then go from there. Nothing worse than working angry and just fucking shit up more. So anyhow, after I had my vice of choice, I broke out the Dremel. Another essential tool. Where's my Dremel? Another essential tool. Always use safety glasses when working with Dremels. And I cut notches in the top of the screw head. Now, the unfortunate part about this is you are going to damage the cap, because in order to get enough of your bit inside the screw after you Dremel it, you kind of have to cut into the cap a bit. But whatever, at least I got it off, no problem. So you cut the slots in there, And then what I did is, of course, I stuck with the impact wrench. I didn't break out the screwdrivers. Nope. Stick with the impact. I found the right size flathead for the job. Again, right tool for the right job. What you want to make sure is that you get the most bit inside the screw as possible. The smaller the bit, obviously, the more chance you're going to have of rounding the head even further and screwing your job up worse. So after dremeling in the slots, hooking up my impact wrench, I can now easily turn off the screw heads. I haven't even opened this up yet because I'm scared to look inside, but see about that shortly. Other things of importance. PB Blaster. It's not the greatest. I've heard, concoctions work better. Everyone's got their own personal preference of what to use for penetrating oil, but bottom line is you need a penetrating oil. And I'm about to find out how well this worked, PB Blaster that is, worked in a few minutes, because I've been soaking this for a day. Also, after soaking it, I soaked it from both sides. This is, of course, the front motor mount bolt. This is one that sheared off. So I'm going to have to drill that and tap that hole, but I'm trying to avoid doing that here. Speaking of tapping, it's always good to have a tap and die set on hand. I actually want to get a better set. This one's lacking, but sometimes it gets me by. Tap and die. That's what I'll have to use on that engine mount hole where the bolt sheared off. It's always unfortunate. I'm not looking forward to that job. If simply applying penetrating oil to the seized bolt still doesn't break it loose, what you can try doing is applying heat. So get out your blowtorch or your torch, and the yellow map is much better, but you can use this as well if you're in a pinch. Just apply as much heat as possible to the bolt. Make sure you get it heated all the way through. Applying heat here will eventually, through conduction, work its way down towards the seized part of the bolt. And once it's good and heated, then apply some more penetrating oil. I find it actually wicks the penetrating oil into the cavity when the bolt is nicely heated. What else do you use? Slime. Slime is great shit. I slimed these tires when I first got it. I was worried that I might have to, well, I wasn't worried, I was thinking I would have to remove the wheels and tires, just remove the tires from the axle, set them on their side for the slime to work, because quite often with old tires you're going to get leaks around the bead, and slime even works on bead leaks as long as it's not too bad. But they've been holding air for the last couple days, so slime, almost all the ATCs I get end up with slime in them. Front tire, haven't had to do anything with that because it's still working quite well. When you want to start a motor that's causing you lots of grief, this is probably a no-brainer, but quick start, I find it works wonders. I'll shoot it either down the intake, or I'll even remove the spark plug and give a little shot right into the cylinder if I have to. Now hopefully you won't have to break out the Sawzall, but I've had to Sawzall off a few swing arm bolts in the past, and the Sawzall is your savior when nothing else works. The swing arm bolt on the ATCs and Honda dirt bikes is notorious for becoming seized. The steel bolt combined with the aluminum bushing or sleeve inside, it becomes fused, and sometimes getting that bolt out is hell. So yeah, the Sawzall can be your friend when all else fails and you need to simply, cut parts free from the trike. If you've seen my other videos, I've had to cut the swing arm pivot bolt here, 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 and here on an 84 250R just to get that damn bolt out because it was seized so good to the swing arm. No amount of penetrating oil or pounding on the bolt would get it loose.
Little things are often big things to a woman. That's how we know you really care. So it's all about the little things we do. Big things can also be good. Taking you to a jewelry store that specializes in engagement rings. Oh, yes. That would be very good. Spend time you can try on virtually every engagement ring that has ever.
So those are some of the tools I use most frequently when working on very old machines. Impact wrench, Dremel, Sawzall.
Friday, November 5th to Sunday, November 7th at the Toronto Congress Centre. $30,000 in prizes and over 200 elite professionals.
I'd like to hear your comments for other tools you find useful when working on old machines. But for now, I'm going to set down the camera and get back to work stripping down the trike.